Hey there, cowboys and cowgirls. It's another episode of Barenaked Reviews. I'm your man, Rishi B, and I'm here with the delectable Aditya and the satiable Joe. And we're all drinking here. Cheers, guys. And so we're here with a talk about Westworld. So season 1 just ended a week ago. And already things are just blowing up online about what's going to come up in the next season. So let's just get straight off into it. So, Joe, how did you like the ending?
I absolutely loved it. It was more than what I expected. I definitely was not expecting that. I was surprised. But I thought it was a very powerful statement. I think it was a powerful ending.
Okay. I like the ending a lot too.
Yeah.
I loved it, but at the same time, they built it up so much that I feel like it could never satisfy every single person because there's so many ways you can do it. You know.
Yes.
But I did like the way that they took on it.
Yeah. I liked it a lot too. Like the mysteries of the show. Did you guys watch Lost by any chance?
I did. I heard of Lost. Yeah.
So, J.J. Abrams obviously is behind this show, and his production company was actually really directly involved in Lost.
Oh, okay.
And he made Lost, so he was more directly involved in that. So there's kind of some similarities with this kind of solving mysteries as you're watching the show. And so I enjoyed that, and I thought they did a perfect way of capping off a couple mysteries. Mm-hmm. So now we know what the maze is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I guess we kind of know that Ford was kind of all along the guy who was rewriting Maeve's story and stuff like that.
He's a puppet master.
He's pulling the strings
the whole time. Yeah. So that boss lady, the new boss lady, after the this is terrible that I had to put it this way, but after the white lady died, the black lady comes up, and she wanted to push Ford out, and I was kind of curious, how is this show going to go now? They're trying to push off this guy the show has built up so much. Yeah. Now at the same time, they're telling me that, no, we want Anthony Hopkins to go away. Yeah. I thought they handled that pretty well.
That was great, the way they did the suspense, because I love that before they killed off the white one, the white lady, they had that interaction at the restaurant where she was very intimidated by him, and she kind of knew, I'm not dealing with the normal person here, this is intense. And when she was eliminated after the show, the new Delos executive that came in, she came in without knowing any of this.
Yes.
So off the bat, you're like, he doesn't know how in over her head she really is.
Right.
So that was kind of exciting because I was like, we'll see these two people square off that I don't know anything about, So,
if you look at Ford, Teresa, right? Mm-hmm. Teresa got she got a good exposure to two sides of Ford. Because if you look at Ford, the way when you see him from a third party when the show starts, he can seem like a harmless old guy. Right. And also a guy who's been there for a little too long and maybe is kind of losing it with the last few updates. Right. And so you get to see that side. But until he has a very intellectual conversation with you, and that's when you say that, no, he has not lost it. He is still very much in control. Right. And Teresa, during the conversation at the restaurant when she came in first as a child, she was sitting there, the way he paused everything, he stopped it, and he let her know through subtle hints who really is in control. I think he refers to himself and Arnold as gods when they were there. Right. And to let her know that he is still a god.
Right. It's hard to put a crown to the best actor because for me, for a long time, it was Dolores. To be able to play someone who's being controlled, but at the same time, you have to play someone they're rebelling because supposedly no one knows about her and her Williams thing. She's doing this whole finding them. She's going through the maze. She doesn't realize she's going through the maze, but she's going through the maze, and she doesn't think that anyone else really knows about it.
She described it as Westworld as the acting Olympics.
Yes. Oh, did she?
Yeah, she said that because you had to go from being a normal person to a robot to you had to go into analysis mode and you lose all your emotions.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Then you have to figure out how I lose my emotion, but still lose your emotions, but then let a tear come down. How do you convey that? It's amazing. But the one that stuck out the most to me was in the very first, I think the first or second episode. It was Jonathan, the one who played Dolores' father.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He got I think Twitter exploded when he had that scene when he confronted Ford.
Right. Yes.
And he had that, and it was like when someone could go on screen and outshine Anthony Hopkins,
right?
You have a really good cast on your hand,
right?
Where he says that I want to meet my makers, and actually in that scene there's a little subtle hint where he says he was going to make them pay, and he looks at Bernard and he says both of them.
Yes.
And those were things you had to, it's impossible to catch on. But he did a great acting. But I can't talk enough about Anthony Hopkins and do you remember the scene where the one-on-one with Teresa right before he kills her basically, and he uses the analogy of the peacock. And the way that scene was executed, the way he's just so calmly, he's about to kill her, but it's almost as if he knows it's going to happen, but he can mentally detach himself from what's about to happen and just have a casual conversation with someone who he is about to kill. It's almost like he's Hannibal Lecter there, right? Something you kind of, it's so casual. It's just such terrific acting.
Right. So the actor's name, I think his name is Jeffrey Wright, the guy who plays Bernard and / Arnold. He was saying how that they would just get like the bit of script of the scene that they're about to do. They didn't really know what was going on the whole time. So I imagine as an actor, you almost have to like give up on like what you don't know and just kind of like play the scene, and that may help like Anthony Hopkins and stuff play the emotion that they're supposed to play at that particular moment. So one thing I liked was how they explained the maze, that the maze all along turned out to not be an actual physical maze, but it turned out to be the path that the robots are taking to a path of like higher consciousness, to a path of humanity almost.
Yes.
I did like that, and they did allude to it a little bit too when they had the Maeve flashback. They showed the encryption. They had kind of a maze kind of shape in it, like saying that she's attaining the maze. It was kind of a little cookie, what's it called, a Easter egg to that. But
I absolutely loved the way they explained the maze. When they did get an opportunity to explain it, they really broke it down really well, because if robots are trying to attain humanity, how do you define what humanity is, right? First you have to explain it or define it in order for AI to attain it. And frankly, all of us, including we ourselves, amongst ourselves, have had conversations where we talk about, well, what's the right thing to do professionally or in life? What is the right decision? And the conclusion has always been along the lines of, well, there is no, you kind of have to play it by the ear. You got to make the choice. Maybe you'll fail, maybe you'll win. That's exactly what the maze is. One bad choice will take you from the center of it all the way to the edge, and one right decision can take you from the edge towards the center. And that's what human life is. So to attain humanity of sorts, the robots have to experience the same thing, because that's what we do. We don't think of it that way, right? We think of humanity to be at a higher level, something above, something that cannot be described, but really it's the maze.
Yeah, and I like how part of Dolores is part of all the robot struggles, in particular Dolores though, part of their loop was facing basically PTSD of their past lives, and that was also part of their maze journey.
Yes.
I just really like the way that they tied that in. This Arnold guy. I mean, Bernard is cool, but this Arnold guy, he changed the game, man.
Right, and I think the cool part was when Anthony Hopkins, who was, I think, from what I took out of it, Anthony Hopkins was against this whole consciousness for AI thing. But when he himself said it's only after Arnold's death that he had took a look at himself, and so he did that for everyone else. I thought that was really, really cool.
And I love that when Maeve asked Bernard / Arnold to remove those memories of her kid, she's like, I can't do that without destroying you, because every decision you've made that's based on who you are is based on that pain. And getting rid of that would put you in a state where you never had to make those decisions in the first place. So it would kind of remove you from the equation, what makes you you. So what I liked about the show a lot, that I think Westworld did better than most of the shows out there, is the amount of attention to detail they had was one, and just one little small thing to put out this a sea of those type of small little details that people can point out. For instance, the scene where Teresa gets killed. Right. There was a scene prior where Bernard and Teresa were together, and they're having. It's revealed they're having a romantic relationship, and we don't know this at the time, but Bernard's an android, so he's picking up on these small little social cues, and later on, he suggests put your hands to your hips to show that you are dominant and to confront fear. And before she's killed, you see her do this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a small detail, such a small detail. And it blew my mind because I didn't catch it the first time through. Someone pointed it out and went back. And then another detail was the whole plan he had at the episode, at the final ending, with the final grand plan of killing everyone. They showed that in the first couple episodes. There was a scene where he had the plan of the attack on the table.
Yes.
So these small little details is one thing that I loved about it. The second thing I loved about it is the fact that it had you constantly guessing, and there's constant misdirection. That a lot of other shows, it's so predictable. There's so many routes that the route is pretty much given to you. Game of Thrones did it very, very well, but they took a different route. They added multiple storylines, multiple plots, and they did it in a way where you see that they're going to an ultimate goal.
Yes.
But it made you have to answer the questions yourselves instead of babying you along and So that's what I loved about Westworld is there was on Reddit especially there were constant theories.
It's a great Reddit show.
Almost halfway through the season, people were debating: is it one timeline? Is there two timelines? Is there three timelines? And going through all that, and no other show where there's this huge debate between it. It's pretty much spelled out for you.
You know what's hilarious? Jonathan Nolan, the writer, he loves going on the Reddit for the show too.
Yeah, he actually posted a scene that they did not show.
Oh, right, yeah.
About because someone asked a question like, "What about the paintings? Dolores is making all these paintings. Wouldn't she just stop and answer question these?" And then he actually posted that the paintings they actually find and for her the quote was, "It doesn't look like anything." So I thought it was really cool too. So a couple of things that I really enjoyed along everything that Aditya said, and great observation there. I did not catch the arms at your hips thing.
Right.
One thing, the inner nerd in me absolutely enjoyed the way they showed AI and the loop, because if you watch Ex Machina or even iRobot, the robots just seem so refined and like a complete product. And it's a movie, so they have to speed it. I get it. But something here made it seem like an actual application, a program that you're writing, rewriting. The QA is testing. It's like writing VBA code almost, the way they did it. Right? I thought that was very organic.
For sure. And actually, straight in the theme, they're showing how the robots are made.
Yes.
They're basically casted. They have the metal part. Quick thing about the metal part. When they're like dipping the metal robot into human milk, and then they come out and they're human-ish. That's actually based off of Da Vinci's The Vitruvian Man, which is like the dude with the and it shows all the physics that he can do or whatever. So that was actually modeled off of that. Just a quick side.
And going off of that, there's actually something else in the intro scene that really caught my eye, and I thought it was really cool because AI is created via machine learning, right? Statistics probability until it catches on and teaches itself. If you notice, a robot created by a human is playing the piano until the piano learns to play itself in the intro, right? So it's the humans have taught the robot to do things, but robots have now taught that piano. Kind of the message is always being sent that AI is at work. Similar to that, and also you mentioned that it was well thought out, well plotted out. The final episode we discussed this as well. It really felt like Anthony Hopkins was a conductor at an orchestra, and it was well orchestrated, and that
everything was well timed.
Yes,
the massive robots came out at the exact perfect time,
and it was just so well done. I can't talk well enough. I mean, hats off to HBO. They really nailed it, especially a show that does not follow the path of good versus bad, because Game of Thrones is exceptional, but it still has a good Starks. Well, I mean, you can choose whether you're on the sides of the Lannister or the Starks, but a lot of movies, a lot of shows have good versus bad.
Yeah.
Here, people hated Anthony Hopkins at one point when Bernard was killed, and then they liked Anthony Hopkins. Yeah. It's not good versus bad.
Misdirections and the unknowns.
The Man in Black, Ed Harris.
Yeah.
You thought he was a villain at the beginning.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's actually something Game of Thrones and Westworld share.
Yeah.
Because the Lannisters, it's a little bit more complicated than them just hating Starks, you know?
Right, yeah.
Jaime Lannister, he's becoming less of a dick. Cersei Lannister is just an overprotective mom.
Yeah.
As the story rolls out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, true.
One last thing about what I like that I forgot to mention, and even write down in my notes, was that the music is like great.
Yep.
They combine this like Western music, Western style of music, and then they're playing like modern songs.
Yes.
It's like
it's
like
great.
perfect the way that it rolls in.
This is the same guy. I can't pronounce his name. It's Ramjil something with disease. But either way, he's the same composer for Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
He also did Pacific Rim. I really love the soundtrack of Pacific Rim. So I've been following him since Pacific Rim because I listen to soundtracks. Right? I'm the weirdo.
Yeah.
But I expect nothing less for him. But apparently he hasn't won an Emmy yet. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that this time is the time.
Yeah.
I think it might be.
Alright, well, with the good, there's always the bad. This bad.
Talking about weak sauce.
And overall, I think all the listeners of the show, we talked about what we like about Westworld for almost 20 minutes. So I think you can all tell that we all love the show. I just have like minor quibbles with Westworld. One of the main things that I don't like is the relationship between William and his friend, whose name I'm forgetting.
Logan.
But it was just up until this very last part in the finale where William has that guy, buck naked on the horse, and he's like slapping the horse and killing the guy via horse travel or whatever. Up until that part, their relationship just was like such like a Telemundo soap opera. The friend would be like, "Are you trying to cut me out from the business?" And William was like, "Shut up, guy." And the other guy was like, "You suck." And then Dolores would pop up and be like, "Shut up, fool," or something like that. Like it just like seemed like so kind of over the top, and just in contrast to the rest of the show, which had such. I felt like I had like pretty decent writing and good motivations, good character development. I felt like this relationship between William and the friend was just like so out of like character for the show, and it just like
I have to agree there, and I think right. I don't know what the writers were thinking at the time, but he was there only to show the transition of William from being William to the Man in Black.
Right.
So I guess like you kind of. He played that role, and there's no really good way except to make it such a turbulent relationship. So you kind of make it all like back and forth, like a alcoholic and his like spouse trying to like make it happen, kind of thing. So. It is. There's no good way to do it. So it just felt like it was the worst part of that show was the whole thing, and also the horse thing. I still don't understand what happened. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, and how the horse thing. So I think what we were supposed to imagine, which maybe that guy will come back. We don't know if he actually died or not.
Yeah.
But I think what we were supposed to assume is that the horse, by him, because they were at the edge of Westworld. And so he sent the guy over the edge of Westworld, so supposedly he's dead or something. But somehow that guy dying, because that guy was William's brother-in-law to be, because he's engaged to that guy's sister. So the brother and sister are like lead shareholders of the company that owns Westworld.
Yeah.
And so this part I thought was pretty weak, because the Man in Black... Ed Harris, throughout the season, he's like, "Oh yeah, I own the company," basically, all this kind of thing. That's why I'm allowed to play here forever. So somehow him killing that dude led to him owning the company all of a sudden.
Did he kill him?
I don't think he actually was killed. I think before he hit the horse's butt and sent him on his way, he said something about, my company, and Logan says, "No, it's not your company. It's my company." He says, "Well, you're gonna. He basically said, I'm gonna portray you as being mentally unstable, too unfit to run the company, and I think that's what he was trying to show, that something's going on with that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I guess from the minority, I liked that relationship, and the reason why I liked it is because it did another misdirection. Because in the very, with Anthony Hopkins in the very beginning, you think that he's some type of guru that is very, well-to-do and smart and nice and caring, and not like a Hannibal Lecter type character in the beginning. You don't know that.
Yeah.
You assume he's going to be almost like a protagonist in a way.
Right.
So Logan was the same thing. As I was off the bat, we hated Logan, and William was the good guy, and he was the righteous one, the white cat. Logan was the black cat. Right. But towards the end, my feeling was Logan just wanted to have some good, fun time with his fiance. This asshole here is going off, running off with some robot and like he's leaving him behind. Like,
that was a good moment.
Because the moment where he leaves him and Pariah, then jump on the train with this robot. Can you imagine what Logan's thinking? Like, here I am with my brother-in-law, and he ditched me for a robot. And
girl,
even when he finds him, he doesn't torture him, he doesn't do anything. He cuts the rope and gives him a hug. Yeah. Right? It's just going to be okay. I understand things get crazy here. I'm going to let this pass. Let's be fine. Right. What does he do? The next morning, he kills his entire storyline. All the people. So it made me kind of have empathy for Logan, and I was like, this guy is the jerk, and by him putting the black cat on at the end, did the whole misdirection. So that's why I
fell for this Telemundo thing.
I fell for it.
Actually, when you say that too, it's kind of, isn't it? William's your friend who's at Cedar Point and does not want to go on the roller coaster, and Logan is saying, "Come on, just go on this ride with me. It'll be fun. It'll be fun." And then he finally gets on the ride and just destroys the coaster, the roller coaster while he's at it.
So I didn't dislike that, but the two parts that I did maybe dislike was. A lot of other people shared the same thing, was those two, Sylvester and Stallone, those two lab technicians who went too above and beyond. It was a little bit, I understood from the show that they were blackmailed and all that, but it was a little bit corny.
Yeah.
And then...
it was a little too easy for them to do all the things.
You could tell, you figure that they could hit the escape hatch at...
And not to, go on this point too long, because we all agree on that, but, or at least Aditya and I. But, throughout the setup of the show, throughout, the first quarter of the season, they're showing, which I thought was actually really cool, this, whole thing of Westworld, this theme park, the management of it is split into different teams. There's a cleaning team, then there's the behavioral traits team, there's the QA team, and then all of a sudden, all of that seems to kind of go away, just melt down towards the end, where everyone's just kind of doing whatever the hell they want, and that whole kind of chain of authority was lost.
The lab tech became Arnold level.
Exactly. Somehow he could. Grant God mode ability to any robot. I thought that was a little.
I think they tried to. There was an attempt where I don't. What's his name?
The Asian looking guy.
Yeah, him. So they start Felix.
Right.
So they start showing Felix as someone who's trying to help this robot bird and code. So I guess they did try and do an attempt to show that. He actually cares about these things. He wants them to be lifelike, and he's striving to be more than someone with a saw and a hammer and learn to code. And so his evolution, but it's kind of a jump. Someone who was barely able to make this bird fly is now suddenly making all these changes to Maeve, right?
Right. Whoa there! I just want to take a moment here to remind all of you that you can catch up on more episodes of Barenaked Reviews at rishib.com. I have reviews of Mr. Robot, Doctor Strange. I even have a comedy competition between Simpsons, Family Guy, and South Park. Hey, did you know you can pick a topic for an episode? Indeed you can, my friend, if you give me feedback via the Facebook page or tweet at Barenaked, REVS, or give me feedback on the YouTube page or email barenakedreviews@gmail.com, you will get a chance to be randomly selected to pick a topic. Fan of the show, Jeffrey from Orlando, Florida, he picked a discussion about Westworld, and you can do something like that too. Thank you so much for listening and for your feedback. I love you all so very much, so much that I want to get bare naked. you had talked a little bit about the misdirection, which leads to the second only major quibble that I have with this show. And the lab technicians, I can kind of forgive that. Every story is going to kind of have its weaker, plot points and stuff.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Maeve, the whole reason for Maeve was a misdirection. The whole reason, Maeve doing her thing, someone rewriting that, and the only reason I could see for a story reason, outside of the show reason is to misdirect the audience. Yes. But the story reason, there basically was no story reason, which I felt was a little weak.
She did fit into Ford's story, though.
So, okay, well, the point that I was going to say, just to end my thought, was the only thing that I could think of was her reason for doing all the things that she did was it would throw off the security, because then Ford could wipe out all the mass of robots by misdirecting them to Maeve and her two...
Hector.
Yeah, Hector and the other one. Yeah. So all the security's focused on that. They're not going to be paying attention to the robot room. But I feel like they don't actually explicitly say that. They didn't really give a reason for that.
For her, so I think it's implied that Maeve is the one who sent the robots to kill everyone in the town. So it's almost like Ford was divorced from it. Like he set the plan in motion, and Maeve went into the robot room. Yeah, and she's the one who's responsible for setting the robots on the people in the town.
Is that the implication? They don't actually say that, though.
Yeah, so Ford himself didn't go to the robot room and order them. He knew the plan was in place. He did his thing, got ready. And the last thing you see is Maeve going to the robot room to revive Bernard. Right. And once Bernard and them are revived, you don't see the robot room at all anymore. Right. So it's implied that once they left with the robots. Right. Maeve set the plan into motion with them. But so she was Ford's tool. Ford is the orchestrator. Right. Maeve was his tool.
Yeah. I did not see that until now. But there is a scene where Maeve just does go downstairs and starts inspecting the troops, right? And then the scene ends with nothing out of it. Yeah. And when the attack happened, I assumed it was Ford who was behind it. But now that you connect the dots, I can totally see.
So here we go. The moment everyone's been waiting for, the world has been waiting for. Westworld Trivia Showdown. Hey, Aditya and Joe, can you guys help me? I have this giant wheel. Can you guys help me with this wheel?
Oh, sure. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, Joe, you go on the other side. Aditya, you take the middle. Okay, here we go. We're going to lift.
Joe,
okay.
Joe, you're pulling the wrong way, Joe. Pull the other way.
Yeah, Joe, what are you doing? Okay. 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 Oh, thanks, guys. It's so heavy.
No problem.
The wheel of game time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the wheel of game time, so I'm going to spin the wheel. And it's landed on Westworld Trivia Showdown. Wow, how unplanned. What are the odds? Okay, so here we go. So Joe and Aditya are going to face off. I got 10 questions here, courtesy of funtrivia.com. I'm going to ask Joe first. So these are multiple choice. If you get one wrong, then the other person gets a chance at answering it. Joe, Maeve realizes that she can continue to return to the lab only if she does which of these? Complain, kills herself, enters the right doorway, says the magic word.
I will go with kills herself.
All right, so Joe, you got it right.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question goes to Aditya. All right, Aditya, Bernard uses old files to track the woodcutter anomaly via its geocached data. How many other anomalies does he find?
Oh, man. Can I get Joe's question?
Yeah.
Thank you, Rishi.
Yeah, it's just the order of the question. So 3, your options are 3, none, 5, 1.
5.
5 is correct.
Yeah.
Good job of guessing. Yeah.
No, seriously, I knew it was between 4 to 7.
Okay.
I knew that it would be somewhere between.
Yeah. Each of the robots was a anomaly.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right,
Joe, according to Teddy... Who's Teddy again? Teddy...
Dylan's boyfriend?
Right. Okay, yeah. According to James Marsden, or Teddy, What do the natives believe waits at the center of the maze? A man, an exit, gold, enlightenment.
I will go with a man.
A man at the center of the maze is Joe's guess, and he is correct.
Ah,
Hmm.
catch
All
up
right.
with you.
Here we go. All right, Aditya. Felix allows Maeve to walk through the upper floors of the Westworld labs. Which of these are things that she does not see? This is a hard one. I don't know if I would get this. All right.
Man, give him all the easy ones. What's that?
Yeah, I know.
Damn you, give him all the easy ones.
I think that the hosts like me. The hosts are giving questions for me.
Okay, so your options are... So once again, these are things that Maeve... Which of these are things that she does not see when she's walking through the upper floor? Images of her on a screen, new hosts being created, animals and diagnostic tests, Dr. Ford's office.
Dr. Ford's office. Final answer.
That is correct.
Dang.
I was between images of her on a screen. I don't remember her being on
Before
a
she
screen.
got in the elevator, she saw herself and the kid. And her kid.
Oh, that's right. Ah, yes. Joe, after his new narrative was tossed out, Lee decided to do which of these? Quit Westworld, take sick leave, be a visitor of the park, write a new narrative.
I will use phone a friend to call Aditya. No, he decided to take sick leave.
That is correct. Okay.
Rishi,
I'll follow the
Rishi.
same thing. No, I just
Yeah,
wanted to make
stick-
sure it was fair.
Rishi, stick to your loop.
Yeah.
Don't deviate.
Right. Okay, Aditya, upon infiltrating the soldier encampment outside of Pariah, who's recognized by the hosts therein?
Teddy.
Your options are Hector, the man in black, Teddy, or Dolores, and you are correct, it's Teddy.
Yeah.
Wow, didn't even need options.
Yeah.
There you go.
Get them options out of here.
Okay, Joe, what does Bernard find in Sector 17? A mass grave, a hidden control room, a family of hosts, a secret group of rogue workers.
A family of hosts.
You are correct. Alright, Aditya, Elsie, looking into the satellite transmitter, discovers that who is likely behind the shady information transmission in the park? Ashley, Teresa, Ford, Bernard.
Teresa.
Correct. Alright, Joe, a man in the soldiers' encampment has a metal brand for livestock. What is the symbol it creates? The maze, the letter W, a star, a constellation.
I will go with a maze.
That's correct.
Oh, yes. Aditya, Rishi deviated from the loop, so remember.
You see, I'm just like Maeve.
You're about to get screwed.
I can make a choice. Alright, Aditya, last question. Maeve ends up making changes to her personality coding. Which facet of her personality does she not alter? Loyalty, determination, pain, bulk apperception.
Determination. She hasn't touched that.
That's correct. Okay, even. Alright, I was wondering if this was gonna happen. Alright, so what we're gonna do now is a tiebreaker. What's the name of the main town found in Westworld?
Oh, fuck.
I think I know this.
Oh, damn. I think I might get it wrong, though. But.
The main time. Got it. Let me know.
Hold on 1 second. Let me think about this for a second. It is.
There's a couple of towns. I think what you're saying is.
It says,
Yeah.
what's the name of the main town found in Westworld?
Got it. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I got this one wrong. 1 second.
Dude, just
Yeah, I got it. No, I don't got it. Okay, 3, 2. Yeah. I knew
Oh,
it was
you were close at that, yeah. Yeah, Joe got it.
You had the idea, but.
Yeah. I didn't know that at all, so good on you
This is
guys.
what happens when you watch too much Smallville.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
what happened. Exactly.
Sweetville.
Smallville, Sweetville, yeah.
All right, so champion of this episode's Westworld trivia game is Joe. Congratulations, Joe. You win our love and adoration and respect. Yeah.
That's all I need. All I ever need.
That's it, yeah. Oh, I was going to give you $500 too, but if that's all you need, then I guess that's it.
Spoke too soon.
All right, thanks Aditya, thanks Joe for doing this with me here. All right, thank you all very much for listening.
You give us a head start. Ready?
Okay.
All right.
Right. 3, 2, 1. Westworld.
Westworld.
You put your gosh darn
clothes
clothes back on. Okay, thanks.
All right.